All right, let's talk about a secret weapon, a tool for changing the world that, might just be hanging out in your kitchen cabinet right now. Yep, we're talking about the bean. And trust me, its story is way more incredible than you think. I know, it sounds a little too simple to be true, right? But what if one of the biggest moves you could make for the planet wasn't about buying an electric car, but was literally about what you decide to eat for lunch? Because that's the story of the humble bean. It's this tiny little food with a truly massive and honestly a very misunderstood impact on our world. So let's break down what that really means. Okay, so before we can really appreciate our hero, the bean, we gotta understand the problem it's here to solve. And that problem, well, it starts right on our dinner plates. Our food system is a huge piece of the climate puzzle. And believe me, not all foods are created equal. Just take a look at this. The difference here is absolutely wild. When you compare the greenhouse gases from producing protein, beef is just in another league. To get the same amount of protein, beef creates over 20 times the emissions of beans. That's not a small gap, that's a canyon. And it's right at the heart of our food's climate problem. So if meat has this giant footprint, what's the alternative? Well, this is where our story's hero enters the scene. See, the bean isn't just less bad for the environment, it's actually an active helper. It's out there doing good. And I'm not kidding when I see it has a genuine superpower. It's called nitrogen fixation. Essentially, beans can pull a vital nutrient, nitrogen, right out of the air and turn it into their own all-natural fertilizer. It is a total game changer for farming. So how does this magic trick work? Well, the bean's roots team up with these cool little bacteria in the soil. These bacteria act like tiny factories, grabbing nitrogen from the atmosphere and converting it into plant food. And here's the kicker. This process makes the soil healthier for free, which means we need way less of those energy-guzzling chemical fertilizers that cause so much pollution. Oh, but the beans' resume doesn't stop there. Nope, they're also super resourceful. A lot of them are drought-tolerant, so they don't need a ton of water. They're also incredibly efficient, giving us a huge amount of protein from a small amount of land. Farmers love them because planting beans actually makes the soil better for the next crop. It's a win-win-win. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. I can practically hear you thinking it. But what about soy? Isn't soy farming tearing down the rainforest? That is a super important question, and we're going to solve that little mystery right now. Yeah, this is the big one, right? We've all seen those scary headlines. It's the classic worry. If we all start eating more soy, aren't we just swapping one environmental problem for another one? So here's the twist. This is the piece of the puzzle that most people miss. The vast majority of the world's soy, we're talking about 75%, it's not for your tofu scramble or your soy latte. It's grown to be fed to livestock, to cattle, pigs, and chickens. And this leads to what we can call the soy paradox. Eating soy directly is actually a really efficient and earth-friendly way to get your protein. The real cause of all that deforestation isn't the soy we eat, but the massive global demand for cheap animal feed to support the meat industry. So the problem isn't the bean, it's the burger. All right, myth busted. Now that we've cleared that up, let's get to the fun part and talk about what this actually looks like on your plate. Because eat more beans is great advice, but there's a whole world of them out there. We can actually break them down into 4 main families. First up, you've got your protein beans. These are the muscle builders, the heavy hitters, like soybeans and black beans. Then you've got the starchy beans, your energy givers, like red beans and fava beans. After that are the vegetable beans. Think green beans and snow peas, packed with fiber. And finally, the oil beans, which, surprise, includes stuff you think of as nuts, like peanuts. And here's the thing, no matter which family you choose from, you're getting this incredible nutritional bonus package. We're talking B vitamins, iron, potassium, a ton of gut-healthy fiber, and these amazing plant compounds called phytonutrients. They're just so good for you. Okay, you ready for a little test? Let's do a quick pop quiz, see if you were paying attention. The fava bean. Where do you think it fits? Is it more of a starchy bean for energy or a protein bean for muscle? Take a guess.
And the answer is... it's a starch bean. If you got that one, nice job. Yeah, it's an amazing source of energy and fiber, which makes it a fantastic swap for things like rice or even bread on your plate.
So we've covered the science, we've busted the myths, we've even done a quiz. Now it's time to bring this all home, right back to that very first question we asked. It's time to rethink what's for dinner. Look, at the end of the day, the big takeaway here isn't about being perfect. It's not about some radical diet change overnight. The goal is simple, it's practical, and it's incredibly powerful. Just more beans, less meat. Every single time you make that swap, it's a real win for you and for the planet. And so I'll just leave you with this one last thought. We often think that taking climate action has to be this big, expensive, complicated thing. But what if the most powerful climate action you take all day is quietly sitting in your kitchen, just waiting for you to decide what to cook?